How do we define reality? We define reality as the true nature of the world around as we experience it. This world around includes everything from galaxies to countries, to neighbors, strangers, friends and family. And we are all individual actors playing our part inside this reality. When the way one acts is not in accordance with reality, we call it denial, a delusion, living an illusion. It is through our thoughts, emotions, and memories that we articulate, interpret, and react to our experience of reality. What makes a reality we desire versus the reality we work to avoid? What makes a happy reality versus an unhappy one? Throughout our evolutionary history, body language has been a significant factor in determining our reality. The information we gather as feedback from others' body language during our interactions with them helps evaluate our sense of security in our social structure. Just like how body language has an impact on each other inside a community, researchers like Amy Cuddy have shown how our body language has a significant effect on our own thoughts and attitudes while opening up to the reality we face. A person with a powerful body language feels confident and optimistic to win even games of chance, even if his or her odds are the same as anyone else's. Humans, as social animals, are constantly rating themselves with social hierarchies in all social interactions they have. The same way we rate our own selves with our constant internal dialogue. For example, if you label yourself as a person low on confidence, you will act in ways that reinforce that pattern of behavior and attitude, hence creating a virtuous cycle of bad attitudes and bad body language, each fueling the other. But this doesn't need to be a lost cause. Chest out, chin up, shoulders back. A military motto. Just like how power posing for 2 minutes before a stressful situation helps you feel more present and confident, so will mental posing. The belief that a future we are planning out can be manifested with the right action and discipline has a profound change in the way we experience reality in the present. It gives us hope, which drives the meaning behind our actions. Gilbert, in his book Stumbling on Happiness, posited that the thing that differentiates humans from the rest of the species on Earth is that we can think about the future. We imagine a vision for the future, make plans for reaching it, execute them, and learn from feedback and keep repeating this. Our plans fail to work many times, but sometimes the future we work toward does manifest. In this low-odds game of future rendering through predictions and action, what our brain fails to realize is that the details of our day-to-day imaginations of the future and ruminations of the past are always flawed and riddled with biases. We cannot accurately estimate the measure of satisfaction an event we've imagined for the future would bring, the same for an event from the past stored in the form of memories as well. We seem to know very little about the hearts and minds of people we are about to become. So, how do we strike the balance between pining for that future outcome we want versus a stress-free and happy state of mind in the present? By the very definition of desire, the pursuit of happiness is implied in obtaining it. The pleasure we experience in feeling in control of our future is one of the greatest drivers in life. Though happiness is often discussed in objective terms, no one knows what happiness feels like for others. We often expect someone blind or deaf to be not as happy, but they turn out to be leading much happier and fulfilled lives than us. Our definition of happiness is constantly in flux. As we gather new experiences in life, we form opinions about them and turn them into memories. A new pleasurable memory yearns for a repeat of the same sometime in the future, hence adding another page to the book of imagination inside our internal dialogue. This predicament calls for us to be aware and mindful of our experience as it happens, and not just take the experience at face value and move along. Psychological arousal from any experience can be interpreted in a variety of ways. Our interpretation of the arousal depends on what we believe caused it. For example, Simon Sinek has pointed out in many of his talks that athletes before a main event refer to their heightened state of mind as excitement instead of nervousness. Both excitement and nervousness have the same physiological markers like sweating and increased heart rate, but the story they each reinforce into our psyche is miles apart. Similarly, envy and inspiration are both the same thing physiologically, but the narrative each communicates has a profound difference in our state of mind. So what we think is reality is merely just a version. It is our interpretation of the world in the current moment and nothing more. Our brain fills in blanks in our memories while moving them to storage throughout the day. So when these memories inform our predictions of the future, some vital information may be misrepresented. For example, we tend to remember only what happened and not what did not happen. So when planning out a future, we overestimate the possibility of what happened to recur. This is because the vital information of what could have happened in the past but did not happen is missing. So it is essential to know that when contemplating a distant future, we have to deal with it in generalities, glossing over the details, because we are sure to interpret specific details of something far ahead into the future incorrectly. But when fleshing out a near future, we can plan it out with steps and action-oriented to-do lists. Approaching our goal setting and hence future predictions this way helps give us purpose and meaning to our daily tasks and step out from the fantasy mode of distant dreams in the future. We can't do without reality, and we can't do without illusion. Each serves a purpose. Each imposes a limit on the influence of the other. And our experience of the world is the artful compromise that these tough competitors negotiate. Dan Gilbert. Awareness of the limitations set by reality in the present matters a lot, and so does the belief that you are going to make progress in the direction you set out with the actions you take. Even if the belief makes you feel like you are faking it, like an imposter at the moment, you are inching closer to making that illusion of imagination a fabric of reality in the coming future. And that's the journey.